Welcome to Breaking the Cycles with Simply Anne, where we confront the pain, expose the pattern, and unlock the power to heal. Real stories, real conversation, real healing. Tonight, we are stepping into a story that takes us far beyond the shores of St. Martin, a journey of faith, courage, and solitude. My guests sailed thousands of miles, leaving Hungary, crossing from Gibraltar through the Canary Islands, and finally arriving in St. Martin. But this wasn't just an adventure, it was a search for God, for a meaning, and for truth. Please welcome Aron Kiss-Simon. Aron, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing lovely after I made it to the studio after getting lost on the way here. So, okay.
Yes, you're not familiar with St. Martin,
Yes.
but you are exposed to bigger places, larger places than St.
Yes.
Martin. So
Oh,
we're gonna dive right into it. Who is Aron Kiss-Simon, and what was life like before you started to sail?
great question. I'm an accountant by profession,
Oh, what
like
a
you.
twist!
Um, I have corporate uh, background. I've been working as an accountant for almost 10 years, and I'm just an average guy from Hungary, born and raised, and then I was moving to Germany during COVID. I lived there the past 4 years,
Okay.
and then last year some twist turn of events happened in my life, and as a result, now I'm here.
Yeah. So it was a difficult, challenging issue. Would you want to dive into that?
Sure. Um, Last summer, I went through quite some changes in my life,
Yeah.
and even before that, my granny passed away in February, and there was just a lot of things going on emotionally in my
Hmm.
life. Um, During the summertime, I broke up with my ex-partner and I resigned from work
Oh, wow.
within 3 days. And so I found myself in a very hard situation emotionally, processing my granny's uh, passing, who's
Grieving.
been exactly like who's been a source of unconditional love for
Yeah.
me the whole life, and I didn't really have time to grieve
Hmm.
and to process her passing. And at the same time, I made a decision to quit my job and my long-term relationship with my partner at the time, which was very difficult. So I found myself in a very hard situation over the last summer, and I didn't know how to solve it.
Yeah.
And so what I did, I was um, going out in the evenings on the streets of Munich, where I was living at the time, and I was asking God for help.
Yeah.
And I was not just asking, but demanding because I didn't know how to resolve that situation alone.
The pain.
And the pain, the logistics of selling everything
Wow.
of a common apartment where we that we have furnished together and
Oh,
lived there for years, and it was just a very challenging situation, and that's how I feel I've got reconnected with God once again in my life, because before that I feel I was disconnected for a very long time,
yeah.
uh, probably for decades, like since the start of the adolescent age, where you start to ask the bigger questions that who am
Yeah.
I?
Yeah.
Why am I on this
Earth.
globe, right?
Yeah.
And apparently I could solve the last summer situations, and I was asking God to let me do that the right way, that I'm not stepping on anyone's foot,
Hmm.
but I'm doing it in the most responsible way. I can possibly do. And of course, I cannot speak for others,
Yeah.
but I did my best in
Yeah.
my power to do that the best way I could. And then I found myself free from that situation, and it was the first time I have really experienced a very deep inner freedom in my life. Um, and I wanted to embrace that in a way that I haven't done before. And it was just a great time for me to do something I haven't done before. As an accountant, I haven't really been challenging myself in other spheres of life, and so I decided to travel. And and maybe more to that, last summer the reason why I've made these decisions was because I felt really disconnected with myself.
Yeah.
I felt empty. I felt dried out. I didn't feel burnt out, but I felt dried out. Like spiritually, something
Was missing.
was missing. Some fundamental piece of me was not clicking, and I was not connected with myself. And once I made these very difficult decisions, over time I could eventually reconnect with myself. And I also learned from all these hardships that if I can solve this, then maybe I can do other difficult things
Yeah.
too. I can
Yeah.
challenge myself on other
Yeah.
uh, areas of life where I haven't done before, because I had a very deep inner fear of doing these things alone, such as solo traveling. And from this experience, I could cultivate some deeper um, courage that later on helped me start solo traveling.
Yeah. Yeah. So you are doing this solo, completely alone.
Um, I would say solo traveling is about you create a travel project
Okay.
that I want to get from A to B. In my case, I want to go from Hungary to Patagonia um, without fly.
Mm-hmm.
That's the project itself. And along the way, you meet other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So during the creation process of the travel project, you're alone
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as you can be, because in your inner circle, um, no one really um, goes with your vibe that, okay, I want to go traveling. There are some cheerleaders on the side who will support you, but there will be others who will ask you that, why are you doing this? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what do you want? Like, what's the purpose of this? And
Yeah. Yeah.
in those cases, you just have to push through and carry a very strong self belief.
Yeah.
And that's where probably God also comes into picture, that I want to do this purposefully in a way where this self belief is connected to some bigger purpose. And my intention during this trip is to do it the way it's verse doing and verse paving the path.
Yeah. So you went from losing your grandmother and then ugly breakup, the separation between your longtime girlfriend.
Yeah.
So we're talking about you were solely dependent emotionally to these two individuals. And the breakup and the grief make you feel very empty and alone to a point that you lost yourself.
No, I think I was also working at a high performance environment for
Okay.
a long time
Yeah.
as an accountant, and I have created a life that was solely focusing on performance,
Okay. Okay.
and I tried to detach everything else that
Mm,
was uh, giving me like a deeper sense of joy
yeah.
or
Yeah.
deeper
Exactly.
sense of self fulfillment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And over time, this has just taken a toll on me, uh, making me feel emptied out
Yeah.
and dried out. So something
Amazing.
deeper was missing over time, and
Yeah.
on top, I had to also deal with these situations that you
Yeah.
have just
Yeah.
mentioned. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it was more of uh, a rollover of many events um, in my life that just led me to this epiphany moment where I realized that, okay, and this is a time to
Find you.
exactly
Yeah. Do you
to.
believe there's many people, especially men, out there just like you? Going through the motion of life, performing in different jobs or being parents or husbands, but yet empty inside.
I think it can happen easily because we are living in a world where um, we are more and more in this um, image of of um, performance oriented environment. Like we try to create an image of ourselves that we are these robots,
Yeah,
like
perfect.
we are these perfect um, working machines,
Yes, yeah.
and in those cases, like if you're not reflecting on our own emotions and feelings because we are still human beings,
Mm-hmm.
we can easily flip over and find ourselves emptied out. And I'm pretty sure it happens to a lot of people. And what I've got is feedback a lot of times that, oh, I think you are brave to do this. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel myself brave. I just thought this was necessary. This was something fundamental for my well-being.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm not sure if there's a lot of people who um, have the same reflections
I
if they
understand.
get to the point of reflecting and making a decision
Powerful. Yeah,
to
yeah,
change.
yeah.
Yeah,
Powerful. And just keep going, keep going. Now, the next question I have for you, why sailing? You could have choose anything else. Why sailing, being outside there in the ocean with the universe, with the stars, with the moon, with the sun, with the heat?
doesn't it sound beautiful as you're saying it? Like
You know,
that's the answer.
dark.
That's the answer. Like um, I just needed. I felt my life was very sterile. Um, had a good pay, had a nice relationship, had a nice everything around me, and I just felt I'm striving for adventure. I'm
Yeah,
striving for something completely different that I was used to before. Um, I think it was a real existential crisis that I was going in, and I needed something very drastic.
yeah,
And I've
yeah.
never
Powerful.
sailed before. I've never done any ocean sports or water sports before. And yet, over early last summer, this idea has already formed in my head that I want to sail. I don't know how to sail. I don't know where I want to sail, but I want to sail. And then you start to learn about it. Like I learned about the Columbus route, how Columbus was discovering America through the Canary Islands, and then you enter into Facebook groups and you see all these people who are looking for boats as crew members, and
Yeah,
then bit by bit you are learning about the process, and it took me probably months to get to the point where okay, I'm going sailing.
ready. I'm ready.
I'm not ready, but I'm still going sailing.
Can you describe a typical day outside here on your sailing boat, and what was the hardest part of the journey? You know?
Yeah, so it's not my sailing, but for the record, my ex-captain would have a hard conversation with me if I call it my sailing boat. I was joining as a crew member in
Okay,
his
first,
sailing boat,
okay,
and he was a solo sailor. So
okay,
he himself, he's a very capable and skilled sailor to
okay.
do this trip alone himself.
Wow.
But still, he was accepting us as crew members on his
Hmm.
boat. So a typical days, we are working in 8-hour shifts. So in the 24 hours,
Yeah.
this is a rolling 8-hour shift. You wake up 2 a.m. at night and you woke up on the cockpit and you see the beautiful stars all around. You hear the waves, uh, you hear the wind. You need to keep the boat in direction. You
Yeah.
have to look out for changing weather conditions and make sure that um, the, the boat is not having any damages
Yeah.
or any um, any other problems are not
Yeah.
happening on board. The captain should sleep as much as he possibly can because fatigue is one of the major problems in the or major dangers in the boating industry.
Yeah.
So um, as long as the captain is happy, everyone is happy on board. Um, and then, of course, sometimes problems arise, like in the middle of the trip, our wind pilot is broken in the middle of the ocean, which means that we lost the automatic steering capability
Okay.
of the boat. So that meant we had to manually steer the boat onwards for almost 3 weeks,
Wow.
which means that in the rotating shifts, um, we did that every 1.5 hours in 3 hour rotations. So imagine you have to wake up every 3 hours for 1.5 hour shifts for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Um, and that was a difficult moment to acknowledge that,
Wow.
okay, we don't have any automatic steering anymore. We have to manually steer.
Yeah.
And that's that's where you have to really um,
The reality check.
that's a reality check. That's a reflection check because it's cool that you go sailing on the ocean. It's very nice, but when you're there and this problem happens, the captain offered an evacuation, calling for help, but
Yeah.
with the other crew member, um, we said that no, we will do this. We will manually
Wow.
steer and
Wow.
we will push through. And I think that's why I also admire sailing as it's a lifestyle
Yeah.
because it's about dealing with these adversities
Yeah.
and building resilience, and that's what I find mostly beautiful about it.
Yeah. Did you ever felt like giving up?
That moment when it happened around 4 a.m. I was steering and the captain came out and he said that we lost the wind pilot, and then I had to steer for 2 hours
Hmm.
manually with the tiller, and that was a very difficult moment.
Yeah.
Um, but then you go to sleep and you cool down and you have a conversation. It's a team,
Mm.
it's a team effort, and we had a very, very good team. So um, later the captain said that it was an awesome way of solving this problem together.
Survival,
And
you will call it?
yeah,
Survival
probably.
skill. You see,
A
because as
little bit.
accountant, we think with our mind all the time. But what you're doing right now is another mindset. It's another way of using your mind to survive, using your mind to stay calm. And would you agree with me that through this sailing now you have developed a more stronger mind to be able to cope with pain, struggles?
Um, Absolutely, and I would say it's all about building resilience.
Yeah,
It's and that's what solo traveling is about. That
yeah,
if you face adversities, how do you deal with that?
yeah,
And that's what life is about. When we face
yeah,
adversities, how much resilience are you willing to build and step up and take responsibility for the actions that you have to make
absolutely.
to address those
Hmm.
adversities?
Hmm.
And for me, that's a learning process. I'm sometimes better at it, sometimes I'm worse. It's a roller coaster.
Yes,
Sometimes you're on top, sometimes you're at the bottom.
yeah,
But that's the beauty of it.
yeah,
And there is definitely some personal growth involved, and that's why I'm doing this.
yeah. Yeah, when we spoke sometime there, you told me that you call this journey a search to God. You're searching, you know? How did your faith grow during the weeks alone on the ocean? And some point you were with crew members, but at a point you were alone as well.
Um, I feel that last summer when I went through these hardships, I already had this realization that wow, it's I can I can really use my faith. And my granny who passed last February was a
Hmm.
very religious person, and
Okay.
she always asked to be more religious,
Hmm.
but we weren't. And somehow, once she passed, I felt that she left such a empty space behind
Mm,
that had to be filled. And I think that's where my faith has been developing from.
yeah.
So I feel that over the last summer, this faith was already there. And during this trip, I just kept reconnecting back
Hmm.
with this feeling. And yeah, when you're out there on the ocean and you're alone in the cockpit at 4 a.m. at night, and you
Hmm.
look up and you see the beautiful stars and all the constellations, and it's just a magical feeling.
Yeah.
Like you feel um, this creation,
Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
this perfection of natural flow, and that's what makes sailing beautiful.
Yeah. These are the things that we take for granted in a city life, in a busy life, in a working family, taking care of everything. We take these things very, very for granted. Was it a point that you felt the presence of God? Can you share with us any moment that you had what we call the divine encounter, that you felt that He was with you? You often say that you are alone, but you're not lonely.
Yeah, like when there is a moment I feel lonely,
Hmm.
then I still keep these conversations going. That this morning I woke up at 6 a.m. I went out to this fort at Marigold
Okay.
uh, for a morning hike, and on the way I was having a conversation with God,
Wow.
and I was asking for support and just keep me in check.
Hmm.
It's also a good reflection that
Wow. Powerful.
to stay grounded and humble and
Love it.
kind and
I love it. Because we don't see these attributes much in men, or perhaps they are there, but men are not verbal or communicate. They will, let me put it like this: African American men don't often express themselves the way you express.
Mhm.
And it's something so beautiful to be humble and knowing that we can communicate always with God and asking Him to keep me in check. because men, yeah, that's another conversation. That's another conversation for this one. But what does alone but not lonely means to you when you say that?
um, Now I'm alone. Like the people who I crossed the ocean with, my crewmate, my captain, they went back to
Okay.
Europe. Um, but I don't feel lonely because you have this groundedness, you have this
Yeah.
um, self centering exercise that I can always do. I just walk out and I
Hmm.
speak to God, and
Yes. Yeah.
it's it's
Fulfilling.
awkward to talk about this now because it seems that this has been cultivating to something bigger
Hmm.
from last summer when
Yeah.
I all started this walking the dark nights of the dark steep streets of Munich. But that's what it is, and apparently um, people always find you,
Yeah.
like who resonate
Yeah. Absolutely.
on your frequencies, and that has
Absolutely.
happened
Nobody
many
said.
many times. It has happened, and I was starting in Spain, in Gibraltar. It happened on the Canary Islands. It happened here. It happened in Trinidad. It happened in the U.S.
Yeah.
Like wherever
Yeah.
I have went on this trip so far, it has always happened.
Yeah. 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 What message will you give to someone watching us right now, listening to this, that feel that life has no meaning? They feel lonely, and and they feel that yeah, they feel lost, and or they're just searching for a meaning of life. What message would you give to a young man out there?
Um, just try it. Just have a walk and talk to God. Have a conversation. Demand, like, don't pray the way of
Yeah.
they taught you in the conservative
Yeah.
ways, but just have a very honest conversation. Like, how would it look like? Um, and thi- through this, you can also get to develop an inner faith that I'm okay. I accept myself the
Yeah.
way I am. Um, I don't have to run anywhere else
Yeah.
for help.
Yeah.
I stay grounded. I stay self-centered,
Yeah.
and that gives a sense of calm,
Hmm.
a sense of gratitude for the person I became.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
And try it.
Yeah. 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 And what breaking the cycles mean for you in a very short sentence? What does breaking the cycle means to you, for your life, for your generation?
Um, I think I broke the cycle last year when I stepped out
Absolutely.
from the treadmill and I tried something else. I might go back, but it will probably look a little bit different
Yeah.
because I took a leap of faith
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
uh,
Absolutely. Aaron, thank you for sharing such an incredible story with us tonight. Your courage, your faith, and your journey remind us that sometimes, God meets us most powerfully in quiet, in the stillness, and even in the storms of life. To everyone watching, your past may have started a cycle, but your healing has the power to end it. Until next time, keep standing, keep healing, and keep breaking the cycles.